Hey, what's up, y'all? This is ASTRODIM'S. This is like my second time trying to record this thing, and I'm annoyed because people just keep screaming around my house. So if you hear like loud noises in the background, y'all just gonna have to deal, unfortunately, because I'm tired. I've been trying to record stuff all week. It's just if it's not banging from people trying to work on my house, it's screaming. Just no reason, just screams. All right, so hey y'all, AstroDim here. Hey, hello. Happy spring equinox. I'm annoyed, but it's all right. Happy spring equinox. I'm bringing in the new year happy. What up? Okay. So the spring equinox happened technically March 19th, 2020. At 11:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? And, I want to just say a quick word before we start this, right? First of all, I don't want to say spring equinox. I'm trying to say March equinox, but I'm so used to saying spring equinox because I'm from the northern hemisphere. Because, I'm going to go deeper into this a little later, but it's fall equinox for the people down under, for the people in the southern hemisphere. You know what I mean? So I do want to consider that as well and tell y'all happy equinox as well. So happy March equinox to everybody in the entire world, okay? That's number one. Number two, shout out to Aries folks, right? Hi, Aries. Happy birthday. I want to send y'all a lot of love. I know it's a little bit difficult to celebrate your birthday. I know it was difficult for the latter end of Pisces folks to celebrate their birthday. That shit's whack. Because coronavirus is running rampant and making people sick and making people cautious, in which you should be cautious. But what I wanted to really tell you guys is to please be aware of your surroundings. You know what I mean? A lot of us folks are generally healthy, are not immune compromised, right? And so we, even if we were to get the flu or corona or any other thing, any other sickness, we'll be able to push through. However, older people, children, people who are, have a weaker immune system will have a harder time. And because coronavirus spreads so quickly, we need to be cautious of that. So, I know you guys had all these ideas probably of celebrating your birthday. You should. A solar return is very special. All right. But just delay it. All right. This goes for my Pisces, my Aries, my Taurus folks. It's all right. Just push it forward. You're going to be okay. I have a strong feeling that things are going to start to get normalized towards like late April to mid-May. Things are going to start to be normal again. I feel that, the first week of April is going to be probably shit. But I think that towards the end of April, early May, things are going to get better. Mid-May, things are going to get better. Gemini season, things are going to be straight. Cancer season, this whole shit's going to be gone. So you got time. And this is just me feeling the way I feel. But always consider your own intuition as well. Not your logical mind and not your desires, but your intuition. Get that? Okay? And then also consider what, true news. Whatever true news is to you, because I know I have people listening all around the world. But for us Americans, that's probably like listen to PBS, listen to NPR, some NPR stuff and shit like that. You know what I mean? PBS is probably the most trustworthy. All right? Okay, so with all that being said, happy birthday, Aries. I love you. Everyone, please be safe. Please. And be cautious of others. I feel like this is the last lesson. I mentioned this when I made my little Aries new moon prediction. I feel like this is the last lesson of, North Node in Cancer. One of the last lessons. Because it's moving towards Gemini in May. And I feel like that, the collective needed to be humbled a little bit. And I'm not saying like, these astrological situations caused this to happen in particular. But if you're doing something in a specific astrological time, creates a thing. That's why people can predict based off of astrology. You know what I mean? Because if people weren't doing the things that led up to this virus spreading, then this would have actualized in a different way. Do you feel what I'm saying? Because all these planets represent not just one thing, but multiple things, you know? So anyways, just be safe. That's what I want you guys to do, okay? But let's talk about spring equinox, because this is the new astrological year. And I kind of want to explain, you know, what's going on here. So it's the new astrological year because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So every time Aries is at 0 degrees, the sun is at 0 degrees Aries, excuse me. You know, that is the new astrological year. Is what it is. And it is actually the spring equinox. Now, the spring equinox is calculated based off of where the sun is in what I like to call the ecliptic belt. So the ecliptic belt, right? Okay, I don't know if you guys, I was really into geography. I know some of you guys might have been as well. And I know that most people looked at a map before. If you remember how your maps looked back in the day, right? And even now, you know, I'm talking to mostly adults though, but whatever. There's the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, right? Those are 2 lines there. And those 2 lines actually draw the northern and the southern hemisphere. In between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn is the equator. All right. And thatness is kind of little, but it's not. But that space between the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer with the equator in the middle is where the sun typically rides on Earth. You get what I'm saying? So that's why the caps of the northern cap and the southern cap can stay cold, because the sun's not really technically touching that area. You get what I'm saying? It's just the sun is staying between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. All right. Now, at this moment, the sun is at the equator. All right. However, the planet, you know how the planet wobbles back and forth? The planet is wobbling forward. So the sun, in our perspective, has moved, you know, because of how, where the sun's position, where the earth's position, and how the earth is wobbling, has moved from the Tropic of Capricorn to the equator, and it's at the equator right now. Okay? And so when the sun was towards the Tropic of Capricorn, right? That when the sun's at the Tropic of Capricorn, let's just say that is solstice, December solstice. To us northern folks, northern hemisphere folks, that's the winter solstice. But to the people in the southern hemisphere, that's summer solstice, right? It's because the sun is down towards the bottom of the earth, and so they're getting their summer, but it's further away from us, so we're getting our winter. The sun, you know, through December, January, February, in March, halfway through March, has moved up towards the equator. Okay? And so now it's transitioning into fall for the southern hemisphere and transitioning to spring in the northern hemisphere, because it's getting colder down there but warmer up here. And then while the sun transitions from the equator to the Tropic of Cancer, that's Cancer solstice or June solstice. To us, summer solstice. To people in the southern hemisphere, winter solstice. Do you feel what I'm saying? All right. So that's when it's warmer here, because that means it is summer. Okay? Summer. Boston coming out. But it's summer, basically. And so the sun is closer to the northern hemisphere. It's further away from the southern hemisphere. It's cold. And it doesn't matter for the people at the equator, because the sun is is riding between their energy anyway. So that's why the equator, the temperature stays the same. You feel what I'm saying? And then when, you know, the sun moves from Tropic of Cancer back towards the equator, that means that it is moving into fall for us. The sun's moving further away from us, so it's getting, colder, but it's getting warmer for the southern hemisphere because it's getting closer to them, but it's not quite summer yet. So that is September September equinox, or fall equinox to us, autumn equinox to us, and spring equinox to the southern hemisphere. So do you catch what I'm saying, y'all? This is all based off of where the sun is at the moment. Okay? Now, when it comes to tropic astrology, which I follow, that's how we mark the different energies of these signs. So whenever the sun is at the equator in whatever date, that is Aries 0 degrees to us. While Sidereal is saying that wherever the sun hits Aries, in a sense of like, in our perspective, when the sun is at Aries, basically when the sun is when the sun is up in the horizon, when it's like sunrise, and then Aries is in the backdrop, that's when it's Aries season for them. Okay, so that's why Aries doesn't start until later on in this in the year. So that's the difference for us. You get what I'm saying? And that's I wanted to make sure you get that explanation, because so you can understand what's going on astronomically and astrologically. Okay, so so that's my explanation for the astronomical side. Now, astrologically, this is basically saying that the sun is in Aries. Okay, sun is in Aries. Happy birthday, Aries folks. And with this energy, it's beautiful. I think the sun is exalted in Aries, so that's lovely, right? This is why everyone has a lot of energy. They're go all the time during this time. It's because the energy's bomb. You know what I mean? The energy is bomb as fuck. So the sun is exalted in Aries. Aries energy represents moving based off of your drives, your motivations, your passions, feeling the urge to do something and doing it, almost doing things haphazardly, low-key. You know what I mean? Like taking action and doing shit. And the sun is connected to your self-expression. So we're all expressing ourselves as a collective by going ahead and doing something, pushing forward. So even if you kind of consider the whole coronavirus thing, you notice that it's this week, the week of the freaking, why am I drawing a blank? The equinox, the week of the March equinox. Why I couldn't think of March? Jesus Christ. Is when it's like you see in like medicines being mentioned finally, they're being ready and shit like that, because now we can go ahead and push forward towards whatever we're trying to do. We're all on that vibe of like, we got to just go for it and do what we got to do. I wouldn't be surprised though if people just rush to do something and like fall on their ass. So this is why that's why I said that little message in the beginning, guys. Please, like, think before doing. All right, please. But with this energy, again, the sun is exalted in Aries, and so we are expressing ourselves by doing something, by taking action, by being motivated by something and going for it, being driven and going for it. With that being said, though, especially with this whole social distancing things, the sun energy is sexual and Aries energy is sexual. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of babies be popping up. All right. I would not be surprised at all. At all. So that'll be some Sag and Capricorn babies. Interesting. Go Capricorns. Whoop whoop. And so yeah, that's what I see there as well. Okay. But anyways, guys, just all I ask is just to think before you do. Think things out logically, and yeah, that's what I ask for you guys. And I know that it's hard because the collective, the energy is kind of like, I gotta do, but try to be motivated by helping others. Try to be motivated to, do things that are productive, that will help. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit concerned that we might be spreading shit. I don't think it's going to be like a terrible situation, but I am a little bit concerned about that. So just be careful, okay? But at the same time, find ways to enjoy yourself, not to be very rise and grind Twitter, but try to do things productive. And that's the thing, some people no, I just want to relax. Okay, well, you're passionate about relaxing, go ahead, push forward and relax, nigga. You get what I'm saying? Or the thing is, the reason why we're feeling this chilled vibe right now is because we're just coming out of Pisces season. We're transitioning, we're having a transition energy, but next week you guys are going to be cabin fever-esque. So I just want you to just be aware to be careful on how you move, okay? For real, just be careful. Think before doing, all right? But at the same time, definitely take advantage of this beautiful, exalted energy, all right? All right. So, yeah, sun is at 0 degrees Aries. Sun is exalted in Aries. So, do. Work. Do what you got to do. Work things that you're passionate about, but don't do anything stupid. And I'm not trying to say that Aries do shit stupid. Aries are very intelligent. Aries be running and going and doing shit. You know what I mean? They get stuff done. You know what I mean? Their passion is their intuition. But just be sure that you're truly being intuitive and you're not just doing stuff because you feel like it, because it sounds fun. All right? And this goes to the whole collective. All right? All right. So I want to take a quick dig at the people who keep saying that we're at the age of Aquarius. We're not. All right. Now, this is beautiful because this is when sidereal astrology and tropic astrology comes together. All right. So with tropic astrology, of course, this is Aries season for us when the sun is at the equator coming from the Tropic of Capricorn, right? It's of course spring equinox to us, fall equinox for Australia. I keep forgetting about y'all. I'm not, though. I'm trying not to. So, March equinox shows us, when Aries season starts, because that's where spring starts. Okay. So that's the tropic side of things. But, the way to tell what age you are in is based off of spring equinox. In spring equinox, right? Or in tropical Aries season, where is the sun in respect to the constellations, right? What backdrop is behind the sun when the sun rises during, spring or fall equinox? Or not spring or fall equinox, March equinox, okay? So let me say this again because I'm probably confusing people. All right. In tropical Aries season, the start of tropical Aries season / March equinox, which is today, right? When the sun is rising, what's the backdrop of the sun constellation-wise? What's behind the sun constellation-wise? That's what we can tell what age we are in, right? And so, yes, it is Aries season tropically. Yes, it is March equinox, right? But when the sun was actually rising, behind the sun was the Pisces constellation. All right? It was. So the thing is, y'all, we're still in the age of Pisces. And we're not going to be in the age of Aquarius until at the March equinox, aka 0 degrees Aries season for tropic folks. When the sun is rising and behind the sun is Aquarius constellation, that's when we're at the age of Aquarius. Okay? That's not happening until like another like 100 and something years, y'all. Sorry. So no, we're not at the age of Aquarius. We're not. Still in the age of Pisces. Okay? Just have to make that dig because, again, spring equinox shows us which age we're in. And we use both tropic and sidereal, like I did, right? Like how I explained it, to figure out what age we're in. We're still in the age of Pisces, all right? Get over it. All right, so... all right, so let's continue. Yay! All right, so actually, I'm not going to continue. And not with y'all, shit. I'm going to continue with the people who are paid subscribers, all right? Who are paid subscribers to ASTRODIM'S. You guys get to have the extended version of my stuff. And that's just what it is. It's lovely. All right. So there's a current deal that's happening with, King Cootie Beloved and I that I want to talk about. Okay. So peep this. Right? And this is like beyond the cross promotional deal that me and her are doing, and beyond the 30% off deal, that sale that I'm having right now, and beyond the 25% off sale if you spend $44.44 that Cootie's having. This is something else. Listen here. New paid subscribers to ASTRODIM'S online community. All right. So that's ASTRODIM'S. Just type that in and you add yourself in there. Be a paid subscriber. You guys will receive a 25% off coupon redeemable at Cootie's shop, King Cootie Beloved, at Etsy. All right. So take advantage of that. You not only get to listen to extended podcast episodes, right? But you also get to go on lives with me when I randomly go on lives. I go on lives every week generally, but sometimes I randomly go just to say what up. And you get to have this promo code and get some bomb ass oils and witch balls and resins and other things at King Cootie Beloved's Etsy shop. So, take advantage of that. Okay. But for the people who are already a part of the Cosmic Gang, the people who are already paid subscribers to ASTRODIM'S, listen, we are going to be talking about the aspects being made to the sun, and then also that weird ass like stellium that's happening in Capricorn right now that's making tensions high. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about that too. All right. So thank you guys for listening. Much love to you. And, I honestly think, guys, this season's going to be, for the people who can't listen, the seasons are going to be this season, you know what I mean? Spring for Northern Hemisphere folks, fall for Southern Hemisphere folks. It's not going to be that bad. But we are sort of going against this general lesson of being nurturing and supportive of others, and that's going to make us fall on our face, but it's going to be a beautiful learning lesson in the process though. And it's going to be not that difficult to learn our lesson, so it might be just one situation that shapes people back together, bring people back together. So don't really worry. I think we're going to be straight. Communication is going to continue to be stupid. Just be aware of that. But, overall, we're going to be okay. So there's no need to worry. But you do need to follow the sun. Absolutely, yes. But also do not forget the nodes, because the nodes are connected. Is the energy that's connecting the sun and the moon. So the nodes are almost just as important as the sun and the moon, okay? So don't forget to be nurturing and supportive of yourself and others, meaning to protect yourself and others, meaning to stay your fucking ass home. Introverts are happy. I know I'm happy. This is my life typically anyway. I do run around though to take my brother to his appointments and stuff, but this is my life anyway for the most part, so I'm good. But guys, just be considerate of others and what they're going through, please. Take care of yourself as well. Nurture yourself emotionally, physically, all that stuff. All right? And stop thinking, don't care that much about the outside world. We're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. All right? All right. Love you guys. Peace. Cosmic Gang. What's up? So, sorry for the delay for the Equinox info. I still want to give you that, so it's the right thing to do. All right, so let's talk about the aspects that's happening to this equinox, so we can know how these next 3 months are going to be, how Aries season, Taurus season, and Gemini season will be. Okay, so first aspect that I feel is extremely important is that the sun in this equinox is going to be squared the nodes. Okay, and so North Node energy transit wise tells you what we need to be specifically focusing on and taking in. All right, when you think about the node energy, North Node represents in the pattern of the moon and the sun. When is the moon and the sun the closest, which is the eclipse energy? And then, it kind of represents like the pattern of the sun and the moon kind of meeting and then separating and then meeting. And so the meeting part is where the North Node is, and the meeting part is, during eclipse, and then the separating part is the South Node. Okay, so the closest distance between the sun and the moon versus the furthest distance between the sun and the moon, if that makes sense, right? But think about it, it's the sun and the moon that we're talking about, the luminaries to the earth. Very important energy, our inner self and our self-expression. And so, again, North Node represents what we need to be focusing on in this time. And with North Node being in Cancer and leaving Cancer pretty soon, it's going to move over to Gemini in May. We're dealing with the last lessons of North Node being in Cancer. We're learning the last lessons of being nurturing, being supportive, of being about family, taking care of home, taking care of yourself in an emotional standpoint, emotionally nurturing not just others but yourself, right? Connected with family, connected with your ancestry and things like that, right? And so, with this energy actually squaring the sun, we're not caring to nurture others, even the people that are close to our heartstrings. We're not even caring to emotionally nurture ourselves. We're going based off of pure passion, and we're even jumping into things haphazardly, causing us pain. Now, that this whole situation with COVID, you were seeing this play out of people going ahead, not social distancing, getting themselves sick, right? Or at least infected, and even if they're asymptomatic. But, regardless, it's just not a good look, you know what I mean? And so, that's like a global example of it, but this can happen in so many different ways depending on where the sun is in your chart and depending where the nodes are. And so what you need to kind of realize, guys, is to yes, we always are supposed to follow the sun, right? But the node energy is connected to the sun. How can you find that balance where you're nurturing yourself and others in an emotional standpoint, but still fulfilling your passions and desires and taking action on them? The thing that you're supposed to do is do that. Now, the energy of the South Node is kind of like what we need to let go of and release, similar to like full moon energy, and what we need to heal from. I'm seeing this in 107. That's the angel number that I keep seeing. It's my birthday. But Capricorn energy is about authority and control in repressing emotions for practical reasons. It's about your reputation, your status, your career, building yourself up, busting your ass. This is not time for doing that in an unhealthy way. We're supposed to release these things and push towards nurturing ourselves and others. But again, it's really important for us to, utilize the passions and desires that we feel within, and the motivations and the drive that we feel within, right? But then what we're supposed to do afterwards is then see the emotional standpoint of it. Is this going to nurture myself? Is this going to nurture my family? Is this a good idea? Instead of just jumping at it and acting haphazardly. You feel what I'm saying? So definitely keep that in mind, guys. Finding that balance. Pay more attention to the North Node energy, and don't learn those harsh lessons, because a lot of people are right now. Jumping towards things because they're passionate about it, jumping towards it haphazardly and busting their face open. Don't be that person, okay? You might actually, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys start to have like nightmares or daydreams or negative thoughts connected to like stuff similar to what I've described, with it specifically with South Node in the Sun squaring. That's you replaying karmic situations, okay? So just know that this is reminding you that you need to release that energy. So just try to transmute it, and that'll be the best way to go about it, okay? All right. The Sun is semi-sextile Uranus as well, and semi-sextile energy is, sextile in the sense of like, you're learning this lesson, right? But it's semi-sextile. And so, yeah, you learn the lesson, but it's harder for you to learn it. It's not like a typical sextile. It's a little bit more difficult for you to get, okay? And so, with the Sun semi-sextile Uranus, with Uranus and Taurus, when it comes to our uniqueness and unconventional ways and all that fun jazzy stuff, right? We are wanting to find stability within it, which is funny, because how do you find stability when it comes to things that are offbeat and different? What you do is basically try to find some value and some worth to it, and that's how you work through it, But the thing is that, again, the Sun in Aries energy, the Sun is exalted in Aries, which is great, and it's all about expressing oneself. Specifically with the Sun in Aries, it's about expressing your passions and motivations and your drive. But sometimes, again, instead of viewing the value of things, you're jumping at something haphazardly. And so again, this is a perfect time for you to understand and value what you can bring into the table. How can you finesse things? How can you value what you have, right? And how you can apply value to what you have when it comes to your unique ideas. Then jump towards it. Again, use this energy during this, this season to motivate you, or even use this like the passion and desire and the like, oh, I gotta get this done, like this fire within you. Use that as a signal, as your intuition. Be like, okay, this means I need to jump at it because I want to do something about it, and I want to do something about it now, but let me not act on it yet, and let's see how I can finesse this to my best bet. Let me see if this is valuable enough. Let me see how I can use what I have to finesse this situation to make it even better. You feel what I'm saying? So definitely keep that in mind too. The Sun is also semi-sextile Mercury. And with Mercury and Pisces energy, that's where Mercury's at its fall. It's a little bit difficult there. It's because, Pisces energy is not about logic, not about practicality. It's about being more in tune with shit. You feel what I'm saying? Feeling things out more so than anything. And Mercury's the opposite of that. However, people that have Pisces Mercury energy are quite intuitive and can pick up things intuitively and make them logical and understand what's going on, even though this is based off of pure intuition, pure emotion. You know what I mean? With this energy semi-sextile, the Sun, This could be a little bit difficult as well because with the sun energy, especially with it exalted, you may learn in a not so difficult way, but still difficult, like how you could fall on your face without listening to your intuition. You're getting clear messages during this season on how you should do things, but you're thinking like, no, but I have to do it because I have this drive within me that's telling me to do it. Even though you're clearly understanding what your ancestors and guides and God is telling you intuitively, you're still not listening. So don't let this be like a little, setback for you. Again, use your motivation, your drive, and your desire as a precursor, as an intuitive thought within itself, or intuitive feeling within itself, and then think, okay, is this a good idea or not? I'm telling you, man, this is going to be the best way to do it. Don't act haphazardly, y'all, during this season. I know it's, Mars, Aries energy, and the sun is exalted here, but I'm telling you, if you think before you do, things will work out great. I'm not saying to not do, period. That's definitely not what I'm trying to say here, but definitely don't act too haphazardly because you're going to get yourself caught up. I really feel that deeply, okay? What's next? The sun will be sextile Saturn. So this is positive sextile energy here. Yay! So the sun sextile Saturn during the spring equinox, right? Which is lovely. This is saying, this is great energy. With Saturn was Saturn. I'm sorry. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm just trying to check something real quick. This is elevator music. Oh gosh, sorry y'all. Okay, so Saturn was in Capricorn still during the equinox. I just had to double check real quick. And so with that is at 29 degrees too, which is really interesting. 29 degrees is a poignant, strong point within astrology, because it shows it's the last lesson of Capricorn, so it's extremely heavy Capricorn energy, but it's also transitional energy. So the Aquarius energy is still kind of smothering in too, and so it's just very, any transition's a lot, right? So it's a very strong type of energy, right? And so with that energy there, I would say that during this equinox, spring equinox, right? When it comes to understanding our authority and our control within our life, we ourselves are in a transitional period of figuring out if we should focus a little bit more on our reputation, status, and career, or should we be focusing on the collective, right? And ain't that right? During this COVID situation, I need to go to work. Oh, what about my reputation? What about my career? What about the company that I work for? What about, my status and how I'm going to be in my path, right? Which is very important. But then you're also considering, the collective consciousness. Like, what about my friends, my network, and affecting them while I'm trying to go for my path, trying to do what I do, trying to get the status that I'm trying to get. What about my dreams and aspirations and how I can use my dreams and aspirations to help the collective? It's like you're trying to figure out, should I be the example or should I be grassroots with it and do my part to help the collective? It's a really interesting placement All right. And, 29 degrees is Leo degree too. So we're expressing that weird feeling openly, but also too is that it's known as the clairvoyance. And so we're being a little bit more aware during this time of how it's going to be in the future. You know what I mean? So this is why we're going through all these changes now. We're being a little bit aware of what the future may hold. And so this is actually a really special time right now. Even though Saturn already is in Aquarius while I'm recording this, this season is still very much Saturn in Capricorn. All right? So definitely keep that in mind. Now, again, this energy is sextile the sun. And so, we understand that we're trying to have more authority and control over, being the example of, and having more authority and control of our reputation, our status, our career, but also trying to consider the collective overall and our network and our dreams and aspirations and how we can help the collective, right? And the beautiful thing about it is we are expressing our energies during this season, by being extremely driven and motivated to get things done, to do what we have to do to both uphold our reputation, our status, and our career, yet finding ways to help the collective too. So, and we're learning in the process as well. And so it's actually a really beautiful energy. Usually Aries and Capricorn energy is square, but because it's late Capricorn, early Aries, it's actually a beautiful sextile and a great opportunity for us to learn how, sometimes being motivated and driven can really help us, but also sometimes planning and doing things in a practical sense instead of just running to it can also work in our benefit too. And overall, we can just help the collective. You get what I'm saying? It's a nice energy to have. But definitely during this time, we're learning to express ourselves appropriately without losing the drive and motivations that we have. Understanding that there is this one goal, and this goal is important, and we have to sometimes take a practical approach to it. All right, dope ass energy for sure. Saturn and Sun is also very leader type of energy, and this is why you're noticing that Trump, even though he's silly, is trying to be very responsible, somewhat responsible for his actions, and other authority figures are trying to do the same too. All right. The Sun is sextile Pluto as well. Pluto is all about transformation, all about intimacy and secrecy and all that stuff, right? And so when it comes to these things, we're trying to have authority and control over it. We're trying to have make sure that while we're transforming, while we're kind of coming together and becoming intimate, both romantically, platonically, and business-wise, with others, that we are doing it to be prepped up in a way where we can, be the example and follow the path that we're supposed to follow in this lifetime, And so that's the type of change that we want. We want a change in status, a transformation in status and authority and control. And again, beautiful energy. You're feeling passionate about it. You are expressing yourself in a passionate way. You're taking action on this goal of transforming your authority and your authority and your why am I losing words? This is so crazy. Your authority and your control. Sorry about that. Mercury retrograde shadow period is a fucking with me to the very end. It looks like, god damn, it's over at the 31st. Can I take a breather, Mercury? Shit. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. Yeah, that's all I gotta really say about that placement. It's really dope though. We're pushing towards transformation. We're pushing towards change, and it's gonna show possibly a little bit more enthusiasm. Not like the best enthusiasm, but a little bit more enthusiasm when it comes to people trying to push towards a change, towards with authority and control and the authority within even this country. So you may notice people educating themselves a little bit more about the candidacy, presidential candidacy and other different elections that are happening during that time. Okay. The sun is going to be also sextile Jupiter and Mars, both at 22 degrees. Goddamn. Okay, 22 degrees, the degree of the kill to be killed degree. Very, very interesting. Okay, and so wow. This is really interesting. Let's start with Jupiter. As we know, Jupiter falls in Capricorn, so it's a little bit debilitated, just a little bit, but it's okay because it's a sextile energy. The sun is working with Jupiter, okay? But all, Capricorn wants Jupiter to learn is to, you can have all these passions and desires and goals and motivations and drives, but hey, honey, baby, listen. Pick one, okay? That's all Capricorn's trying to tell Jupiter. That's all it is. And Jupiter has a hard time picking one because it's a beautiful sign. It likes to go around. It likes to dabble here, dabble there, dabble everywhere, okay? And so Capricorn's pushing towards that. But this is beautiful, though, because, again, with the sun in Aries, first, sun in Aries is... exalted, number one, so that's helping the whole fall energy there, right? But number two, sun is saying that I will do and express the necessary work that I need to do in order for me to find a philosophy, belief, religion, or idea that will help me get the authority and control I need in my life to go towards the path I need to go to. You know what I mean? I will learn what I have to learn. So yes, I'm very passionate, but if this means I have to buckle down, be a little bit more practical, with and picking something and just going with that thing, I will do that. I'll be that, let me learn, let me find this authority, let me find this control. Let me have this status that I'm looking for in my life. So it's actually a really beautiful placement. But the thing is, it's a little bit edge to it because it's at 22 degrees. Well, first of all, it's conjunct Mars, right? So there's the edge. But it's also at 22 degrees. And so it's like, listen, I will do what I have to do. Kill to be killed, motherfucker. I will do what I have to do to get where I need to get. So I will follow any path, go any way. If it's going to be the path, okay, well, I'll do that. Just let me be able to be the master in my own life and have authority and control over it, Really cool energy. That's what spring is definitely bringing. And then lastly, sun is going to be sextile Mars at 22 degrees as well. Now, peep this. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Sun is exalted in Aries. Woo. So this is probably the most potent aspect, I feel, other than the sun and the square energy. But this is probably arguably the most potent aspect, even though it's just a sextile. And I don't like to say just sextile. Sextiles are actually really dope. It's my favorite aspect, honestly. But because of the learning aspect of it, learning aspect, get it? But anyways, Pete. So, again, Mars is all about your motivations, your drives, the actions that you take. And so the reason why Mars is so exalted in Capricorn is Capricorn got this one practical goal on how they want to go about things and do things. And Mars, that's what Mars needs, a goal, a plan. And then you can use your energy, not to jump at the things haphazardly. You can use your energy for that one goal and fight for it and work for it and do what you got to do and put all that passion and that drive towards towards you getting that authority, that control and within your life. You know what I mean? That goal. To be honest, and to be honest with you, excuse me, and it's at 22 degrees, right? At 22 degrees, again, killed to be killed. So you don't give a fuck. You'll do whatever the hell you gotta do in order to follow that vibe, follow that goal, follow that to get to that status, get to that authority and control within your life. So, you're not only doing what you gotta do, the footwork in order to get to that energy, but you're expressing yourself. You're embodying that energy of, I will do what I have to do. And it can be a little self-involved, I'm not going to front, but not all the way, because Capricorn is a collective sign. It's an advanced sign, it's the collective sign. So although it could seem self-involved because you're like, no, I know the answers, I can tell you what to do, shut the fuck up, right? It could be like that, but it's not just doing this because, oh, it's my idea and I want it to be about me. All of us are really feeling that this could help the collective in a practical sense. You know what I mean? And so it's that type of vibe there. But if you see this more personally too, you know, you really feel that, hey, if I get to a certain level, I can help more people. You know, so it's actually a really good energy. Again, it's an opportunity for learning how to channel all that passion energy that you have and to use it practically. Because again, we're on Earth. Earth is very practical and tangible. So, yeah, dope ass placements here. I feel like overall spring's gonna be good. Semi-sextiles can be tough, but they're not that difficult. It's sextile energy still. We got 4 sextiles happening, 2 semi-sextiles and 1 square. So all the energy cancels out, and we got an extra sextile there. So I think overall, you know, if we remember to balance our energies appropriately, not to forget the nodal lessons, you know what I mean? I think we'll be good and we'll be all right. I think we will be all right, okay? I can say that Uranus is square Saturn. That's a little bit tough, okay? If we're talking about just other news, you know? And so this kind of gives me the vibe of a swift change of authority. You heard me. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out worldwide. Again, we're talking about global sense, but it don't have to be like the big honcho, but smaller situations of a change of authority. So keep your eyes open for that. Yeah. Okay. I can also see that also authority figures definitely having swift changes, like implementing swift changes, you know what I mean? So you have to be aware of that as well, especially because this Taurus new moon is going to be happening next month. So you definitely could see that for the eclipse as well. Will be generally detached. The moon is in Aquarius at this time, so will generally be more of a detached type of energy. But you know, it's for the collective. Like, we have to detach our emotions to better help the collective, or better help the people around us, our network, you know what I mean? And so, you know, we might be hurting a lot of feelings, but like, yo, listen, I'm sorry, I know it's your birthday, but I'm not hanging out with you because I want to make sure you don't get sick, and I don't get sick, and we all don't get sick. You know what I mean? Is that type of vibe, how it can happen personally, but this can happen globally as well, you know what I mean? Venus is in Taurus, so, you know, this is why everyone's lounging, vibing, vegging out, you know, quarantine and chilling, you know what I'm saying? So there, I see that too. But yeah, that's how I feel like the season is going to be. So I like to actually talk about at least the seasonal birth charts to see how it's going to end up being. I used to do it for each sign, but then I got bored with that. But I'll definitely do it with the seasons. I think it's really helpful. All right. And so happy spring to you all. Get pumped up. The spring season looks like it's going to be a lot of learning lessons, but not so difficult. So it's cool shit. All right, guys. God bless you, and I love you so much. Peace.